Today I'm going to do something unique. I'm going to visit a retail e-commerce site and see what kind of data it is collecting about me through to Google Analytics. So just trying to check what the browser is sending through to Google Analytics. And what I'm going to do is use an extension called the Google Tag Assistant, which is a very common extension used by people in marketing, in your digital marketing team, or people in e-commerce. But not many know the full capabilities of this Chrome extension. So if you don't have this Chrome extension in your browser, you can just search for Google Tag Assistant Chrome extension on Google. Follow the steps. Pretty simple. Just enable it. And before we start, just a disclaimer that I don't work for Allenstein's, nor am I associated in any way. So what I'm going to be showing is just the publicly visible data that gets sent through to their Google Analytics. So let's get started. Once I click on this, I need to first enable it. And once this has been done, I will refresh the page. So now once the page loads, you can see a very small number here saying that 4, which means that it's found 4 tags. 2 of those are related to marketing, so Floodlight and Google Ads remarketing tag. And there's one Google Analytics tag and a Google Tag Manager tag. Now, I would first go into the Google Analytics tag because we want to see what exactly is being sent through to GA. And what I see is that there is one page view request, one keep alive request, and one other request. So quickly, let's take a look at a few of them. So the main one is going to be the page view request, and it says that, a page view has been fired for this page which says shop men's fashion, clothing, and suits online, which is nothing but their homepage. But it doesn't give much more information. So we'll talk about custom metrics later, but if I look into the URLs, in a nutshell, this is what gets sent through to GA. All that the browser is doing is sending a request to googleanalytics.com collect, and then every parameter that you see after the URL, after the collect path, is basically the information that the browser has collected about this page and about you, and is sending through to GA. Can get a little hard to read because there's a lot of stuff going on. So we can just click on this and it just gets cleaned up. It shows what exactly is getting sent. So the host name, the request gets sent to Google Analytics, and it goes to the path collect, which stands for basically Google Analytics is going to collect all this information when this URL gets hit. And all of these are nothing but query parameters based on something called as the Google Analytics Measurement Protocol. So all of these mean something. Some of them are pretty obvious, but let's go through one by one. And if we don't know what any parameter means, you can always look at the Google Analytics Measurement Protocol documentation and try and find what exactly a particular parameter means. Pretty simple till now. So going back to our example, so what it says here is that the version is 1 for Google Analytics, and it's the hit type is page view. It's also saying that the document location is hallensteins.com, which is pretty right. User language is English US, and the encoding is on UTF-8. It just says what is the page title. DT stands for document title. SR is screen resolution, VP is viewport. So the difference between screen resolution and viewport is screen resolution is what the resolution is for my laptop screen, whereas the viewport is what is the area on which the website is visible. So 1280 by 610. This is a pretty important one, which says client ID. This is the number with which Google Analytics is going to remember me uniquely. So next time when I come through onto this website, it's going to be remembering the CID and assigning me to the same user in Google Analytics. That's how another session gets created, but it still gets associated with the same unique user. TID is basically the measurement ID. This is where all of this hit information is going to be sent to. So Google Analytics will know it's for this Hallenstein's account, and it will just keep appending all the new information that it's receiving. Custom dimension 1. Now this is where it's very specific to what Hallensteins is doing. They are sending a custom dimension 1 core, which probably identifies the location where I'm coming from, which is New Zealand. And then it is also sending all the details of all the promotions that are visible on this page. So it says the promotion name, promotion ID is 224 and promotion name is Lockdown Essentials, and so on and so forth. So this is just a list of all the promotions that are visible on this page. And Z is the cache buster. So this is a randomly generated number to make sure that this URL, even if the user comes back to the same page, all of this parameters are probably going to be the same. And that's where the cache buster comes into picture. By making sure that the cache buster is a random and unique number every time, this URL cannot get cached, which means that it will not get ignored, and making sure that every hit gets identified and read as a new and unique hit. So hopefully that has been helpful on what exactly Google Analytics tracks. If I go down and look at the next request, let's take a look at this other request because it's a little ambiguous. And I can see that the hit type is a timing. So this is not tracking a page view, but it's trying to understand what was the page load time and all of those kind of parameters. Still getting sent to the same URL. Let's clean this up. And it shows, apart from some of the common things that we saw in the previous example, it is also sending other parameters like page load time, which is approximately 9.8 seconds, page download time, DNS response time, redirect response time, server response time, TCP, and so on and so forth. Now, there might be some times that you would not exactly know what a certain thing means. So let's take, for example, DIT. All you would need to do is go to the measurement protocol documentation and search for DIT equal to, and you'll see that, so DIT stands for the DOM interactive time, and it specifies the time it took for the document object model to become interactive. If I go back and take the example of the other tag, which is Google Tag Manager, I can even see what information Hallensteins is sending through to the data layer. Now, data layer does not mean this is not information necessarily going through directly to Google Analytics. Some of it would be, but the data layer is nothing but a JavaScript object that that resides in your browser that can store information about what the page is all about. So what you see on the page is the visible elements, but there is also information stored in the data layer. Tag management systems like Google Tag Manager can then access this data layer and pick up information as they need it, and then send it through to tools like Google Analytics or Google AdWords or what have you. So here I can see that it is sending some information that Ecommerce, which is nothing but a marketing automation tool, it is sending information through to the data layer that probably Ecommerce is going to make use of. What you will see is that the promotions, e-commerce promo view, all of these have been passed on to the data layer, and this is exactly what got picked up by Google Tag Manager from this data layer and got sent through to Google Analytics in the previous tag that we saw. So that's pretty much a quick rundown of what Hallensteins is collecting. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how the record button works. But I hope you found this helpful.